This is Tatsaki Tanaka. I'd like to talk about Homesick for Berlin. The German Empire was defeated in World War I in 1918. The Weimar Republic was founded in 1919. My friend's grandfather made a business trip to Germany in 1934. Purchased a postcard of Berlin during the Weimar Republic and brought it back to Japan. I borrowed the postcard from my friend and created a YouTube video. This is a 2005 map of central Berlin. The top is north, the right is east. The major streets are marked in yellow. There is a road painted red on top of the yellow. This is Unter den Linden, the busiest street in Berlin. Many of the buildings in this video are located along this road. The length of the street is approximately 1.4 kilometers. At the left corner of the street is a Brandenburg Gate. At the right corner of the street was the Royal Palace of Berlin. It was destroyed during World War II, but has now been restored and is called the Alexander Forum. At the Brandenburg Gate was the Berlin Wall during the Cold War. The west side of this gate is called June 17th Street. It was named in commemoration of the workers' riot in East Berlin in 1953. At that time, the Soviet Union tanks were used to suppress the riots. There were many casualties, but the number was not made public. This was a forerunner to the Hungarian uprising of 1956 and the Prague Spring of 1968. The Weimar Republic was a difficult time for the German people, with frequent changes of government and hyperinflation. However, architect Bruno Taut built many apartment buildings in Berlin. It was also a time when Bauhaus was active. In later years, it was also called the glorious 1920s. These are the housing complexes built by Bruno Taut in Berlin. These are the housing complexes built by Bruno Taut in Berlin. In 1919, the Bauhaus, a comprehensive art school with architecture as its ultimate goal, was founded in Weimar. The principal was Walter Gropius. Although the Bauhaus was founded in 1919 and disbanded in 1933 due to the rise of the Nazis, it had a major impact on art education and modernism worldwide. The Bauhaus faculty also included some of the world's top artists. Paul Klee, for example, was a Swiss, and Kandinsky was Russian. So what was the condition of Berlin, the capital of the Weimar Republic? The last emperor of the German Empire, Wilhelm II, went into exile in the Netherlands, and his palace was turned into a museum. Berlin, castle and monument of the great elector. Berlin Castle. This building is a palace in Berlin. However, there is no emperor, so the inside was used as a museum. The palace was almost completely destroyed during World War II. However, the former East Germany didn't restore this building. It is also relatively recently that restoration has taken place. This postcard shows the interior of the palace. Wilhelm II was exiled to the Netherlands during the German Revolution of November 1918. The interior of the palace, now without its master, was turned into a museum and opened to the public. The palace was badly damaged during World War II. The palace was located in the former East Berlin. East Germany was economically impoverished, so the broken palace was left unattended. After the reunification of East and West Germany, restoration began on the palace, and it is now in its original state. The interior of the palace is now open to the public as a museum. This is also the interior of the palace. This is the interior of the palace. This is a pre-World War II map of Berlin. The Brandenburg Gate is in the middle of the right. The square building above it is the Reichstag building. The statue of Bismarck is in the circle to the left on it. Further to the left is a Victory Monument. There is a big street down from the tower, which was called Victory Street. It was lined with statues of the kings of Prussia. The road was heavily destroyed by Allied bombing in World War II. The road is now closed and has been turned into a park. This is Berlin's cathedral. It stands across Unter den Linden on the opposite side of Berlin's royal palace. The coffins of the Prussian kings and queens were enshrined here. It is a very prestigious church. This is Berlin's cathedral. It stands across Unter den Linden on the opposite side of Berlin's royal palace. The coffins of the Prussian kings and queens were enshrined here. It is a very prestigious church. Pleasure Garden, Lustgarten, Cathedral Dome, and Castle Bridge. This tower commemorates Prussia's victory over Austria and France. At the time of construction, it was located near the Reichstag, but Hitler moved it to the middle of Tiergarten. The height of the Victory Monument was also increased. This is a postcard of Reichstag building. Reichstag building main entrance. Bismarck Monument was between 1938 to 1939 transferred to Grosser Stelle. Damaged during the war, the 6 supporting statues were disposed of in 1958. Berlin Reichstag Building. This is the current parliament building of the Federal Republic of Germany. It is still in formal name the Reichstag. It was severely damaged during World War II, but the restoration was designed by architect Foster from Britain, a former enemy of Germany. This postcard shows a museum designed by Karl Friedrich von Schinkel, who excelled at designing buildings that simulated Greek architecture. This is my relatively recent photo of the Schinkel-designed museum. This is not a picture postcard. The Spree River runs through the city of Berlin and has a river island. There are many museums on this river island. Therefore, this island is called Museum Island. The building in the foreground that looks like a Greek temple is the National Museum. This building is a National Art Gallery. The bronze statue standing in the foreground is of Emperor Friedrich Wilhelm IV. I took this photograph. It's not a postcard. Siegs Alley was built to commemorate the victory of the Prussians over Denmark, Austria, and France in the war. At that time, the Victory Monument stood in front of the Reichstag building. On Siegs Alley stood statues of successive kings of Prussia. Thus, during the Second World War, this main road was completely destroyed by the British and the Americans. The street no longer exists. It was rezoned and turned into a park. Hitler feared and hated the communists. He wanted to stop the Red Army from entering the city of Berlin from the Spree River. He destroyed the piers of this bridge to stop the ships from entering in 1945. Berlin, Potsdamer Platz, Corner Leipziger Platz. Berlin, Armory unter den Linden. Berlin at the National Monument. National Monument cannot be found. It was probably destroyed in World War II and never recovered. Berlin unter den Linden. Berlin Brandenburger Gate, Pariser Platz. Schenhauser Street means a road to Schenhausen. Schenhausen had a Prussian palace. It was Baroque architecture. This tower commemorates Prussia's victory over Austria and France. At the time of construction, it was located near the Reichstag, but Hitler moved it to the middle of Tiergarten. The height of the Victory Monument was also increased. This is the current Victory Monument. It was moved to the Großstern in the center of the Tiergarten during Hitler's reign, and whose height was increased. Postcards of Potsdamer Platz and Potsdamer Station. Trains departed from Potsdamer Platz for the provinces. It was an important terminal station in Berlin. Therefore, Potsdamer Platz was a very busy place. During the Cold War, Potsdamer Platz was located in West Berlin, but its proximity to the Berlin Wall delayed its development. This is the current Potsdamer Platz and Potsdamer Station. State Drama Theater. Concert Hall, Berlin. Unter den Linden Corner, Friedrichstraße. Unter den Linden is Berlin's busiest thoroughfare, and Friedrichstraße is named after Frederick the Great, the man who developed and revered the country of Prussia. The intersection of both roads was very busy. This National Opera House presented classical operas. Berlin Opera is famous for Brecht operas. Brecht operas were not performed here, but at the Schiffbauer Dam Theater. The concept of the museum, which was originally called the Kaiser Friedrich Museum, can be tracked back to Crown Princess Victoria of Prussia, who published her ideas in a memorandum in 1883. It was Wilhelm von Bode who finally put these groundbreaking ideas into practice. This is a radio tower of the city of Berlin. Below the radio tower, you can see the facilities for the exhibition where the trade fair was held. These still exist today. When Hitler came to power in 1933, he made good use of broadcasting, making his own political broadcasts to attract the public. This palace in Unter den Linden is a building where Frederick II, later called Frederick the Great, spent his days as Crown Prince. Unter den Linden Palace, Kaiser Wilhelm I. It was the only university in the city of Berlin at that time. Many Japanese also studied here. It is now called Humboldt University. It seems that double-decker buses have been running in the city of Berlin since those days. It is now Humboldt University. In front of the university, used bookstores and antique dealers are doing business. The Märchenbrunnen, simply the fountain of fairy tales, is located in the Volkspark Friedrichshain in Berlin. In 1893, the authorities of Berlin issued the artistic entrance to the national park Friedrichshain. The fountain of fairy tales was commissioned by the national park and later designed by Ludwig Hochmann. Hochmann put forward the idea of a fountain in the park to depict fairy tales. Hochmann describes this in his memoirs. Unter den Linden, State Opera, University, Kaiser Wilhelm I. The Red Town Hall is a city hall of Berlin, Germany, located in the Mitte district of Berlin on Rathausstraße near Alexanderplatz. It is home to the mayor and the administrative body of the city of Berlin. The landmark building takes its name from its visual design with red hard bricks. I took this picture. The buildings I have shown you so far are the magnificent buildings of Berlin, since they are to be used as postcards. However, this is not to say that all buildings in Berlin were magnificent. There were also quite a few poor dwellings. The illustrator and painter Heinrich Chile made many sketches of the life of the workers in the ghettos. When the Industrial Revolution broke out in Germany, many factories were built in Berlin. Workers from the countryside flocked to Berlin in search of work. However, housing was shabby and unsanitary, and tuberculosis was rampant. The workers were happy to go home after a hard day's work. There were also young workers. Thank you for watching.